Kids, we're back. It's Jim Lowenstern. It's the Exponential Files. Like us all over the place on social media. Listen to our podcasts all over the place. You found us today, so you know how to do it next week. Every Friday around 2 o'clock, we're doing this behind the scenes, and usually within a day, it's up on the screen. Today we have Andy Coleman as my guest. Andy's with EXP Realty, as pretty much everyone who's ever been on the show so far has been with EXP. And welcome, Andy.
Hey guys. Yeah, thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah. So let's just start at the beginning. How many years have you been in the business? How many years with EXP? Where were you before?
Yeah, we'll start from back about 3.5 years ago. It was basically the very end of 2019. That's when I got into real estate. So before that, I wasn't doing real estate whatsoever. I just moved down to Florida about 5 years ago, and maybe 2 years prior to get my real estate license. I was doing something completely different. Never was doing any kind of real estate or really any kind of business like this whatsoever. It's completely different. So it was a big shift and change for me once I got into real estate. So for me, I was brand new in a brand new state. I didn't have a network built up, no sphere of influence. I had nothing. I maybe knew 5 people, I think, in Florida total. So it was tough for me when I first started, real estate. And EXP, believe it or not, was the first company that I joined, and it will probably be my only company because it doesn't look like I'm going anywhere anytime soon. I really love EXP and all the benefits that they give me, which I'll get into a little bit later. But yeah, once I started doing
we go over them every week.
You do? Okay, so I won't even talk anything. Okay, I won't sell you all that. But yeah, no, I genuinely do like the company, though. It wouldn't even be a sale, I'm happy here. So basically once I started real estate, I had to find my own way because a lot of people out there, especially when I started with sphere of influence, call everybody pick up your phone, dial. I said, I don't know anybody. Everybody's back in, Connecticut, New York, Massachusetts. Like I'm from the Northeast. I didn't know anybody down here. So I didn't have a, easy path to making success during, my first year or so of real estate, which is really important because a lot of people fail in real estate in the very beginning. So I didn't want that to happen to me. I didn't want to be another number. So I did a totally new approach, and it's the rental strategy. So I'm sure none of you guys really do any kind of rentals whatsoever. It's very unique. 99.9% of agents turn down rentals. They don't like doing them. They say it's a waste of time. You're not going to make any money. But I completely think that's BS because I made an entire career out of it, and very quickly. So did you guys want me to go into my first couple of years?
Let's say, Andy, I agree to a degree, don't agree to a degree. A lot of agents do rentals. They hate rentals, and they don't make enough money doing rentals. So it sounds like you figured out a way from starting at zero, going to 100 miles an hour quickly, doing rentals
very fast
and making money. So explain how you did it. What was the process?
Okay, so I'll go back to year one. So it was basically December of 2019. That's when I really started, which is basically 3.5 years ago. And I was doing what I call the any broker advertise strategy. So it might be different. I'm in South Florida. I don't know if I said that before, but I'm in South Florida. So we have something in our MLS called any broker advertise. If it says yes, I'm allowed to advertise that property. It's not a big deal if, you're out there and you don't have anything like that in your MLS. It's kind of uncommon, but you could just obviously you just ask for permission from the listing agent, as opposed to just having permission given to you in the MLS. So that's my basic strategy, is taking these listings that are in the MLS, as long as you have permission, obviously, and then I put them on Facebook Marketplace as courtesy of Remax, courtesy of Keller Williams, whatever. And then I say, hey, please contact Andy Coleman. I won't go into the details. You can actually check out my YouTube channel. I break this all down. It's just Andy Coleman, my YouTube channel. Go check it out. I break down all of my strategies. So I won't really talk about that, but I will talk about how I actually did it and got to where I am today. So basically started posting these listings, and I got success really fast. Within my first probably couple days, I started getting leads coming in. And I'm talking, probably a dozen, 2 dozen leads in my first couple of days of doing this. And I was like, okay, now let me learn how to talk to these people. Let me learn how to open a door. Let me learn how to do a rental, write a contract. I knew nothing whatsoever. So I did, pick it up pretty quickly. And as I started picking it up, the leads kept flooding in. I started posting more and more listings. And the more listings I would post, the more leads I would get. At my peak, I was getting about 200 leads per day. That's a lot of leads. And yes, they are all rental leads, but that's, it's a lot to manage. So in my very first year, I didn't really know how to handle that kind of volume. I was still learning. I wasn't treating this as a business in my first year, which was a mistake. So my very first year doing this, I still ended up doing.
Let me ask you.
Oh, yeah.
You did this all trial and error. You were not mentored, coached, nothing.
No. I had one. Do you guys know Paul Saperstein?
The auctioneer in Massachusetts.
No. A Florida realtor. He's actually top 50 realtors in the entire country. I did a podcast with him, which I'll put up. But yeah, he basically helped me, in the beginning a little bit. My buddy Darren helped me in the beginning. But nobody was doing rentals though. So I created the strategy. They helped me do how to do a showing, how to write a contract, that kind of stuff. But no, the whole rental strategy, I literally just trialed and errored, and I created it from scratch. I had one agent.
And these rentals that you were posting, were they easy access through a lockbox and vacant, or did you have to schedule it with the listing agent?
Oh yeah, I got to show everything. So I don't know, where are you guys again? What state are you guys in?
Well, actually, in the Boston area, but I actually started in Palm Beach. Palm Beach, Florida was, and I still have my license in Florida.
We were the opposite, because I came from the Northeast, moved here, and you moved out of here. I know. So we have to go and do a showing. Obviously, if the listing agent needs to be there, they need to be there. But typically, I always had to be at my showings. I have a completely different strategy now, which I'll get into in a little bit, where I don't do showings anymore. First, I'll get into that in a little bit. But in the very beginning, I was doing a tremendous amount of showings. I would try to put these listings up, try to get it rented out. And then, if let's say I had 20 people reach out to me for, 10, 15 different listings, I figured out very early on, the best strategy was to actually set them up on my MLS, capture their data, their email, their phone number, all that good stuff, and then get them set up on my MLS. So this way I can show them other properties. I was going into a very crazy market, because I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the beginning of 2020, the whole pandemic thing hit. And down here in South Florida, everybody started moving here from California, Massachusetts, New York, Canada, everybody, from the whole entire country was moving down to Florida. So I had an influx, literally about 950 people per day were moving down to my area. So, trying to accommodate all of these people and get them into places was very difficult. Trying to get an offer accepted in the beginning of 2020, or actually 2021, got really nuts. But towards the end of 2020, it was tough. There was sometimes 10, 15, 20 offers for a property. 2021, I think the most I saw like 30 or 40 or 50 offers for a property. So it got really, really tough trying to get these people accepted. So I figured out, hey, let me get them set up on my MLS. Instead of trying to go for that, one particular property, let me try to show them multiple properties so they have some options. This way, we could see 3, 4, 5 properties, 6 properties, and they get accepted to maybe 1 or 2 of them. And then, they choose their favorite. So that's the strategy I ended up sticking with, was capturing their data and trying to show them other properties. If I got that initial, listing rented, that's fantastic. And I love doing that, but that was not always the case because of competition. So my very first year, I did about 50 deals, 50 to 60 deals. I can't remember exactly. 5 of those were house sales, and the other 50 or so were rental deals. My average commission, though, in my first year was very low. It was about $800-900 per deal, not including the sales, of course. But yeah, so I made about $80,000 in commission. I was very close to capping and iconing. I think I just missed capping by maybe like $79,000. But it didn't matter because it was towards the end of the year. But it was my second year. That's when things really changed. 80 grand for a first year realtor is pretty solid. I'm led to believe that a first year realtor makes around, I don't know, it's like $25,000 on average. So, me doing triple that it's pretty good. But I wasn't really taking it that serious in my first year. I was probably only doing about 6 hours, maybe, 7 or 8 per day. I was taking off the weekends. I was turning my phone off at 5 o'clock at night. I wasn't really treating this as like a full-time business. I was half in, half out. And
What did you do before real estate?
I was actually doing a completely different industry. I can get into it a little bit later, but it had nothing to do with real estate whatsoever. I was actually trying to open up a company in Massachusetts, believe it or not, for cannabis, a recreational cannabis license. So it's completely different. I can get into that later.
That explains it.
Yeah, completely different from real estate. So yeah, I mean, that was a fun time though. But yeah. So anyways. In my first year, things were going good and I was getting a taste of having a little bit of money coming in. So my second year, I had this moment, actually, it was crazy. I'll never forget this for the rest of my life. I was in the shower with my girlfriend and she was looking at me and she was like, listen, I don't like that you're, sitting at the pool at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Because at this time, remember in my very first year, I wasn't really, fully committed to real estate. She was like, I don't like that you're playing video games, at 1 o'clock. And I don't like that you're waking up at 11 a.m. She didn't like that. So she was like, I want you to make more money than me. And then first thing that pops off in my head, oh, she a gold digger? We had just started dating. And no, that couldn't be further from the truth. She just wanted me to apply myself. She saw all of my potential and she saw that I was wasting it. Even though I did about 80,000 in commission, she was doing way more than that in her business. She's an entrepreneur as well. So she wanted me to do better than her, or at least try, at least put in the same amount of effort that she was putting in. So everything clicked at that moment. I was like, you know what? She's right. I'm squandering away my time right now. I'm wasting, my potential. And I was about 32-ish years old at this time. And I was like, okay, let me listen to her and let me actually try to apply myself and see where it takes me. And oh my God, it took me to the stars. So the very next day, I was like, all right, I'm going to work 12 hours today. So I did. I started working about 12-hour days. I stopped turning off my phone at 5 o'clock. I started working on the weekends. And all of a sudden, I started getting way more leads coming in and I started having way more deals that I was starting to close and actually, get paid on, because in the very beginning, I was maybe doing, 4 or 5 deals a month. And then that changed completely. I started doing 10, 12, 15, 20 deals in my second year. I was doing a lot. My average commission started to go up because I got a little bit smarter from all that trial and error. So I was probably doing about on average $1,400, maybe $1,500 for my average commission in my second year, and it equated to 180 deals. Most of those were rentals. Maybe I did another 5 to 8 house sales, but most of those were rentals, and I ended up making about $250,000 as a second year realtor, which is not too bad. I don't know what you guys, if you guys think, what you think about that kind of strategy, for a second year realtor, but it changed my life completely. Making $250,000 in a second year in a career, it just opened up my eyes to the potential of real estate. I didn't even realize you could make that much money that fast.
And you were still just doing this through Facebook Marketplace?
Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, that's it. Just taking listings, putting them up there, trying to get that listing rented. If not, trying to set them up on my MLS and then showing them other properties. And it worked phenomenally. So I was like, okay,
now,
this
when
is
you
working.
say your MLS, you're talking about your CRM probably in your MLS.
Just literally just, we have Flex MLS, Beaches MLS, whatever, it doesn't matter to the name, but literally just you log in your MLS, and find all your properties. I was doing it from my MLS because if you guys got a listing in your MLS, you could reach out to the listing agent and ask them if you can advertise it. If you don't have any kind of permission granted in your MLS, you could just reach out for permission. So no, it's my actual MLS where I'm just literally performing a search as if I'm a tenant, or a client of mine, saving it for myself and taking the good listings and then putting them up on Facebook Marketplace. So yeah, I wasn't using any kind of Zillow Premier or KV Core or anything like that. Like
I said before, Facebook Marketplace for our audience costs how much?
Zero. Absolutely
excellent business strategy.
It's free. So yeah, I was spending nothing for marketing whatsoever. And, I think in my second year, I was having some great months. I would have like a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 month. I can't remember exactly my second year. I do remember my third year though, but yeah, I was having some fantastic months. And after that, after I got that taste of success, I was like, okay, well, now what if I put in, because believe it or not, this wasn't my maximum effort, working 12 hours a day. I was getting to like most of my leads. I would have weeks, literally like 2, 3, 4 weeks go by where I would not be able to get to my leads or like all of my leads, because I was so inundated with business. I had too much going on and I couldn't handle it all. It's too chaotic.
So Andy, sorry to interrupt. Did you
No,
find
go ahead.
yourself bringing multiple groups to see an apartment
Oh
at
yeah.
the same time?
Yeah, I would literally set up showings like I would have sometimes up to 4 different groups of people for
Yeah,
one property, and I would set it
like
up
like
2
an open
o'clock.
house.
Yeah, it's literally like an open house
Yeah, yeah,
for a rental deal.
yeah.
So this was in the peak of the market. You know what I mean? This in my second year. This is I think 2021, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, it just started getting absolutely bananas in terms of how many offers and how many people were moving here. It just got crazy. So yeah, I would have a.
So with all that competition in the marketplace, what tricks did you use to get your offers accepted?
Okay, so yeah, I learned all the tricks, obviously. So this is what I was going to talk about a little bit. What I started doing towards the end of my second year into my third year, I stopped doing showings. So that's my biggest trick is I literally I refused to do a showing before they have done an application. I use Rent Spree, you could use Zumper, Smart Move, whatever the hell you want to use, doesn't matter. Just do what I did. I just did an application for that client. They would pay for it. I wouldn't charge anything at first. I'll talk about this in a little bit because I did start charging for applications at a point, but it didn't work. And I was losing more business because they didn't want to pay that extra fee. I did make a few $1,000 though. But anyways, yeah, I was having them do the application first, the credit background eviction report, rental application, send me their proof of income, their driver's license. I would write up a contract to lease, an offer for the property, and I would blast it out to as many properties as they actually liked. So this was a reverse strategy to where we would put the offer in before we saw the property. And then if they got accepted, which was a big if, because there was a lot of competition, then I would call them up and be like, hey guys, we got to go and see this property right away. You just got accepted. They have 20 other offers. We got to see if you like it. And then 9 out of 10 times they would like it because, on a competitive property like that, it's going to,
Because 9 out of 10 times, because 9 out of 10 times in a hot market where there's absolutely no choice. So they have a choice of living in, either their parents' house, Motel 6, or this
Airbnb.
apartment. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah. So what was the choice? Okay. Smart.
Yeah. Some people, I gotta say, some people did get picky and it would frustrate me because, there would be like one little thing wrong and they'd be like, nah, maybe not. Maybe I will.
And they regretted it too, probably, because it wasn't that easy to find perfection. Right.
No, it really wasn't. So, as the market started picking up, people realized that in their budget. Exactly. And some people would have to increase their budget because at this time, the prices were skyrocketing, like I'm not even exaggerating. They basically almost doubled in price. The average 3-bedroom, 2-bath would probably cost around $2,200 when I first got down here, 3.5 years ago. And nowadays it's like $3,000, like you're pushing at least $3,000, for an average 3-bedroom, 2-bath in South Florida. So the prices went way, way, way up. The cost of living went way, way up. So it had especially for my commission, that started going up as well. I was getting more leads coming in. I was getting more clients that wanted to be here.
I'm just going back in my memory. When I leased property in Palm Beach, it was 10% of the rental paid by the landlord.
Oh, I didn't talk about that. Good. So great question. Basically, if it's what you said, like a 10%, that would be 10% of the full year, which would be split 5 and 5 for each side. That's semi-average, but the real average is half a month's rent, which is 4.16% of the total. So half a month's rent's the average. The landlord's paying that. So I know it's different in Massachusetts, right? The tenant pays that.
Mostly the tenant.
Exactly.
Except with commercial.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, because I have a buddy that I taught to do that in Massachusetts, doing very well right now, by the way. So it works in Massachusetts too. I'm teaching agents all over the country how to do this. California, Texas, Arizona, Massachusetts, Jersey, different parts of Florida. It's working everywhere, and the majority of landlords actually pay the commission. So it's a unique that Massachusetts does not have the landlord pay, but most of the country, check your MLS, if you're watching this right now, see what rentals pay. But yeah, it's a phenomenal strategy because you can make a ridiculous amount of money doing
And the
rentals.
strategy
A
is
life-changing amount.
just getting the application up front.
Well, so depending on your market, depending on your market. So like I said, I didn't do that for the first like year and a half, 2 years or so. That's like kind of relatively new, just because of competition. I figured, I was wasting so much time doing these showings where they wouldn't get accepted. I was like, okay, so let me use my brain here and figure out what's a better way to do this. And it was, not putting in not seeing the property first before. But here's the thing though, you got to be careful doing this because some of these listing agents will get really mad at you, if they ended up saying, if they say no, imagine this. A listing agent accepts the offer. They turn down 10 other offers. You go and see the property. And then the client, the tenant says, no, I don't want it. Then you got to go back to the listing agent and be like, hey, sorry, we changed our mind. They're going to get kind of mad at you. So you got to be careful doing this. There's a way to really navigate around, putting in offers first. And so you got to really, I always say you got to perfect your strategy first, become an expert and a master in rentals first.
You just lower the expectations up front. You say, I have a full application here. Take a look at it.
Yeah.
Would you accept them? We'll come run over and take a look at it right now. Just nothing's a sure thing. Everyone in real estate
exactly
who's been doing this for more than a year, I should say more than a week, knows that there's no such thing as a sure thing.
Yeah. I've lost so many deals. I mean, sure. It's just, but the great part about rentals is, so listen, if you have a $500,000 house where you're making a 3% commission, what's that, 15 grand or something like that? Imagine you lose that deal. And that's the only deal you have in your pipeline for that month or 2 months. That hurts, losing that 15 grand hurts. But if you lose a rental deal, you're losing $1,500, $2,000, $2,500. It doesn't hurt that much. Yeah, it pisses you off and everything. Obviously, you don't like losing a deal. You just wasted your time.
Yeah. So Andy, it sounds like this strategy was working mostly on the tenant side, not the listing side. Have you shifted to the listing side?
No. So believe it or not, I've only had a handful, maybe a dozen listings or something. I haven't had that many listings, compared to I've done over 550 deals, and only a dozen of those have been listings. So I believe it or not, I got really good at actually getting these listings rented very fast or sold very fast. If I had a for sale listing, I'm a perfectionist. So whatever I do, I'm going to perfect my strategy. So yeah, I did figure out a way to get listings, rented or sold extremely quickly. I have a very good strategy and process and method for that. But no, most of mine, 99% of my deals are from the tenant side. I haven't even explored doing any kind of advertising for listings. In my mind,
what about your tenants? What's your follow-up with your tenants? Because they all will be buying condos and houses very soon.
Exactly. So that's what I was going to get into. My mind is, hey, let me do a 10-year plan, 5-year plan, 10-year plan where renters turn into buyers and buyers turn into sellers. So that's the big thing. So about 3 to 5 years into your, rental career, you can call it, your renters will start turning into buyers. And I'm experiencing that now because it's been about 3 years. So I keep in contact with them. I use, Constant Contact. You use KV Core, MailChimp, whatever the hell you want to use, doesn't matter. Just send out a weekly email and you could basically set them up on a campaign that, just keeps yourself top of mind. Doesn't matter what the hell you send them in your email. It could be anything from, top 10 favorite restaurants in South Florida, whatever the heck you want to send them, market updates. Just make sure you're top of mind. So this way, all of your renters will remember about you and then they'll reach out to you when they want to buy. I don't know what my conversion rate's going to be, but imagine this. I have 550 renters I've done over the past 3 years. All of a sudden now the market switches to a buyer's market. Maybe I get 5%, maybe 10%, maybe more. Even if I get 10%, that's 10% of 550 renters. That's a lot of sales coming in every single year. That's over $500,000 in potential sales that I'm going to get just for my renters. And I could still do my rental strategy as well. So I was going to get into actually my 3rd year. This is when things really took off, when I started working 16 hours a day, because once I did that and got to all of my leads and actually put maximum 100% effort into real estate. I'm talking, I would wake up at, 9 o'clock in the morning and I would work till 2 o'clock in the morning. I was just a machine working nonstop. I don't advise this because I did burn out and I could talk about that, but I made $510,000 in net commission, take home commission in my third year of real estate. So after my second year, I started making about $42,000 every single month, like clockwork. I would have months, a little bit lower in the very beginning because I got burnt out, and I could explain that. But I had my best month, I think, was around $70,000 in commission from doing rentals. It was absolutely bananas. And believe it or not, I ended up getting a $20,000 rental. So, we get half a month's rent commission for that. So it was a $10,000 commission. Plus I did a $15,000 house sale, commission at that point. And then I did another, 20, 25, 30 rentals that month, on average $2,000 commission. So I brought in over $70,000 of commission from doing rentals after my second year of real estate. So this rental strategy, it works so well, and it really depends on how much you apply yourself. Like I said, I wasn't working that much using the same strategy in the beginning, 80 grand, started working a little bit more, second year, 250 grand, and then full force, third year, $500,000. So
what are you doing at 2 o'clock in the morning in the business?
I'm writing offers. I'm putting offers in. I'm not even exaggerating. At the peak of it, I was putting in, I still do, but at the peak of it, I was putting in about 30 to 40 offers per day, 30 to 40 contracts to lease per day. It's a little bit different. It's not like an as-is contract for a sale. This is a contract to lease. It's just a 3-page little thing. I have a whole strategy. I'm very efficient. So you have to do all of this business. You got to be efficient. You got to have your processes down, your systems down. You got to make sure that everything is very quick. If you can shave off 5 seconds from a task, and you're doing 10, 20, 30 different tasks, it adds up to a tremendous amount of savings, copy and paste, clipboards, scripts, dialogues. I mean, whatever you want to call it, being efficient, that's what really helped me to do this.
Clearly, you're a machine. So your girlfriend's happier. You don't get to spend any time at the pool. And it's very simple. It's Facebook Marketplace to market the properties. Now you've got the leads coming in. You can do multiple showings at a time. You said now you don't even do the showings. Oh, you take the applications first, and then you do the showing after they've been accepted.
Exactly. So
anything else in the hack department?
Yes, there's a ton. I could literally talk for hours, but okay. So something that just comes to mind, 2 things. So one is putting the offers in. And I'm going to probably make a video on this. And like I said, go to my YouTube channel. I literally break this all down. So check that out. It's just Andy Coleman. So basically one hack is over asking price, double security, extra months of rent up front. So if you do these little things, especially when it's competitive, let's say the property costs $3,000 and you put an offer in for $3,200 or $3,100, or you do favorable terms, like you move them in a little bit quicker. So maybe the other offers are August 1st, but you do July 1st, maybe instead of first, last, and security, you do first, last, double security, or first, last, security plus 3 more months on top of that, plus doing over asking price, plus moving in quicker. I mean, there's so many little things and tips and tricks
if all this stuff is legal. I mean, I'm sure.
It's all legal. Yeah.
Well,
you can put in whatever offer you want.
I don't think you can do double deposits. I mean, we can't even take pet deposits in Massachusetts.
You can't do a double.
Wow. I don't think so. I think the maximum is 1 month. Well, consumer protection. We're a blue state.
Oh yeah, well,
yeah.
Florida over here.
In Massachusetts, if a tenant doesn't pay the rent, they don't pay the rent. That's the end of it.
Yeah, down here, you're out of here in 30 days. You get evicted like that. No, it's completely different. I mean, yeah, obviously check your laws and check your guidelines. I mean, you could always do advance rent then, just pay an extra few months up front. You know what I mean? I mean, there's ways around it. But yeah, I mean, there's things like service animals. So, imagine somebody has a pit bull. I mean, trying to get that accepted to an HOA is a nightmare. So one of my strategies would be, hey, check out the 1988 Federal Fair Housing Act. Register them as a service animal or support animal. Then HOAs can't discriminate against you and they must provide reasonable accommodation. So there's little hacks like that, I just have all these little tips and tricks that I would use, and it works so well because I would get a lot of offers accepted. Now, don't get me wrong. I would get a lot of offers denied. I would get the majority denied. The majority of my offers, I think I put in maybe about, I would have to say, I don't know, 30 a day. What's that, like 900 or something, 800, 900 per month. and I was only doing about 20 to 30 deals per month. So the majority of my offers would not go through. So it's a numbers game, it's a volume game, but I can get these offers in lightning quick. I'm talking, I can put an offer in, I time myself within 1 minute, 60 seconds, or maybe a minute and 60 seconds, or sorry, a minute and 30 seconds. That was my average where I would be able to put an offer in. So if I was putting in 10 offers, that would take me about 15 minutes to put in 10 offers, and 30 minutes for 20 offers. So I was putting in offers very, very fast. I was doing a copy and paste, where I was copying and pasting on my app files and my clipboards and all that stuff. I was sending out text messages from my computer that was linked to my phone. I would have things where I would just, be so efficient that I can do that. I could put in 30 offers in 45 minutes, So all those kind of little, I got another good one too. So aside from offers, and
we're coming up on the end of the show, so make this one quick.
Yeah. So basically follow-ups. Follow-ups are very crucial. Do follow-ups, just go through your previous day's text messages, emails, whatever you got to do from your previous day, and follow up with every single person that you talk to. That probably added about 20 to 30% to my business. And last thing too, so what I did now, so you don't have to, bust your ass for, years on end. And yes, the money's great and everything like that. And yes, your renters turn into buyers, so you're going to double, triple what you're making every single year. But here's the thing, you could actually hire a team. I have agents that work under me. I have agents that I'm recruiting right now. I'm building a team and I'm teaching everybody how to do this. So you don't have to do it alone. I hired a virtual assistant. I got into making YouTube videos right now. I'm doing content creation. I'm on Instagram. Follow me at the Andy Coleman. So yeah, you don't have to just do, real estate as a realtor. There are so many other options. You can start learning about investing in properties. I mean,
we're going to end the show. We're going to end the show on this one. So Andy, you're an Icon agent twice, I guess.
Three times.
3 times. Okay. So for people that don't know what that means, Andy did 80,000 gross commission income. Then he did another 20 transactions. Or more.
Yeah, 25,000 after.
Yeah. Okay. So the cap, which is 16,000 each year paid to EXP, you can get that back if you're an Icon agent in company stock. So let me see your face, Andy. In the last week, EXP stock has done amazing things. Yeah. So you took a look at your account and you went, oh yeah, holy moly, that was
doubled.
Yeah.
Double. That's the craziest part. I got some of this stock, that 16,000 in stock, multiple times,
and you
at
were
like $10, $11 a share.
$10, $11.
Yes.
Here's truly EXP stock, when it goes down, it gets cheaper. People,
I love it.
And they go, what does that mean? Well, we're getting X number of shares per dollar, and when the stock goes out, we get more shares. Well, if it was a company that wasn't making money and wasn't going anywhere, if the shares went down, you'd say, well, they could go down to zero. This company's not going down to zero.
When I joined the company 3.5 years ago, we had 30,000 agents. Today, we have 88,000 agents. I mean, in 3 years, the growth rate of EXP is phenomenal. That's why I'm not going anywhere. And you just got to imagine.
They've come back too.
And they come back?
I track them. The ones that leave, I mean, if they're doing any business, of course they're going to come back. There's no place they're going to make more money.
No, because you could make over 100% commission. I actually did a video on this about making over 100% commission, which is absolutely bananas. You got to imagine, you have, $16,000 in stock that you're getting every single year. Plus you take the 5% of your commission check, you get a 10% discount on it. You could have, hundreds of shares, thousands of shares every single year. And how about if they double, triple, quadruple in price? You're making over 100% commission.
And they pay a dividend. And they pay a dividend and revenue share, and we're not going to go into it.
Revenue share.
We're up to close to 60 shows here. We've had Glenn Sanford, we've had Jason Gessen on the show.
I was a guest on his podcast a couple weeks ago, actually. Glenn Sanford, he's a great guy. Really like him.
Yeah. Well, this was a great show. Thank you so much, Andy Coleman.
You're very welcome.
With eXp Realty for enlightening us in the wonderful world of Florida rentals. And this is Jim Lowenstern, your host of the eXponential Files. We're signing off for today. Check us out on all the podcast channels, Apple and Spotify and whatever else is out there. And we'll see you again next week. Thanks, and have a great weekend.